So, in this particular case, reportedly, the amounts that that Jamie Spears was being paid over the years was more than he was allowing to be given to Britney, even though it's her money.
Mhm.
Um, and so anyway, so they had this hearing yesterday, which was on a petition by Jamie Spears and his legal team to be paid out of the estate for the 12th accounting, and they wanted to have funds set aside for the future, for their representation and tying up all of the matters of the conservatorship and whatnot. They wanted to have this like hanging Chad with access to the money, right? Of course. And apparently the court hearing went for like 3 hours yesterday, and it was spicy, super spicy. You had attorneys that were accusing each other of all kinds of things, calling each other liars. Crazy, crazy, crazy. It
That's
looks
good
like,
stuff.
yes, very good
Is it
stuff. And
recorded?
it was not recorded, but
Oh,
these hearings lately in this case have had transcripts that have come out afterwards. So I would love to do a dramatic reading of that transcript
oh, that's
when it
great. I would
comes out.
totally do that with you. If you want, if you like a male voice, I will be
Let's
that
do it.
person. It's
Let's
like,
do
I would
it.
totally do that. Cause I was
Yes.
actually thinking about that for one of mine. Cause I was reading, off the Djokovic transcript with the border agent. And I was like,
Hmm.
I wish I had somebody to be like, you're the border agent. I'm Djokovic. Like we're doing this
Yeah.
back and forth. But that would be fun. Let's definitely do that. That'd be
Yeah.
hilarious.
Oh yeah, for
It's like,
sure, for
you're a
sure.
liar.
so 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 in order to request these fees, Jamie's attorneys had to basically say, hey, look, he did all this work, he didn't do anything wrong in the process, and therefore he's entitled to his fees. Well, Matthew Rosengart, Brittany's attorney, filed a response or an objection to it, in the days leading up to the hearing, where basically he said, actually, you did a lot of things wrong, and here's a bunch of them. Those included, what do I have here? Those included financial mismanagement, self dealing, and potentially illegal surveillance of Brittany into her private life, including therapy sessions and attorney client conversations. So potentially some very major issues here. So when it came to self-dealing, apparently he was using some of the funds that he was getting from the conservatorship to try to pitch an idea for a cooking show for him to star on, using his connections. And then there was something else that he was supposedly doing. Um, and to try to benefit one of his businesses, like a catering business, I think, or something like that. It
Yeah,
was
to the
something
extent
strange.
that, and by the way, to the extent that any of that is exposed, absolutely that should be actionable. That should be. I mean, once again, there has to be proof to back this up. These need to be, verified. And I'm just somebody who has just wading into this. So once again, a bare accusation doesn't mean much. Especially in Hollywood with people in Hollywood. I really am in a wait and see and let me show me the proof. In an era of Baldwins, I want to see the smoking gun, literally.
Yeah.
So show me. I mean, that's Brittany's accusation, or that's a lawyer's accusation. Let's get some discovery and let's see what actually happened here.
Well, as far as so I know that there was at least one declaration that was attached to Brittany's filing. I don't know if the declaration had to do with the self-dealing, but as far as that allegation is concerned, I mean that one it involves another person that he ostensibly approached, right? So that should be
Mm-hmm.
pretty easily verifiable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so and to make clear, anyone that is in this kind of an agency role, like we were talking about, a conservator, a trustee, anyone that is representing someone else's rights, yes, you are entitled to fees, but you also have certain responsibilities, and one of those is to not engage in any kind of conflicts of interest. If you have a conflict of interest that shows up, you're either supposed to resolve that so that you no longer have that conflict, or to step away from the entire relationship if it's not possible to step away from that conflict. So
Mm-hmm.
one of two ways, you got to get yourself out of that situation. And it looks like he was allegedly inviting those situations,
Mm.
so that he could personally benefit from his position of authority and control over the Britney estate. Now, as far as the surveillance situation, there was a declaration that was attached to this filing by a former FBI agent or
I think that's what
authority. So
Cameron said in the chat here. Said that there's an FBI agent that did an audit. So
yes,
that's interesting. So that's
yes,
interesting. And once again, that's their side. They hired somebody to do a job, and they're entitled to a defense against that or to be able to rebut that. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty damning evidence.
yeah. And it's they're saying that they were recording Britney in the bedroom. They were recording Britney in her therapy sessions. They were recording Britney in her conversations with her attorneys. Okay, now number one, all of those are very, very, very sensitive, private
Right.
areas.
Privileged, perhaps you might say.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, at the very least, the therapist conversations and the attorney client
Attorney client
conversations.
one, yeah.
Absolutely. Those two are pretty hardcore privileged.
Bedroom is just weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and she's engaged currently, but she's not married. And during the course of this whole conservatorship, she hasn't been married. So it's there's never been a situation where, we would be talking about a marital privilege, for example. But California is also a two-party consent state when it comes to recordings.